Okay, welcome everybody to the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater session. For just a little housekeeping here, we have some questions that you guys can, or tips for you on the screen. Number one, how do I ask questions? You do need to use the Q&A button to type your questions to the presenters at any time. They will be monitoring the Q&A section, so if you have any questions, use the Q&A button. Your camera and microphone are off. You are muted. Your video is off. The panelists from UW-Whitewater cannot see or hear you. So again, if you have any questions, you need to go up to the Q&A button. If you're interested in more sessions, this is one of many college presentations that is being offered. Check out the schedule on the IACAC website. This session is being recorded, as are all sessions, and the recording will be available on the IACAC website. And with that, here we have UW-Whitewater. Stop sharing here. And there you are.
Awesome. Well, hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for this information session about the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater. We're so excited to connect with you and just get you a lot of information about our academics, the application process, and all the cool things we have going on campus today. As was mentioned, if you have any questions at all throughout the presentation, the Q&A function is going to be where we are going to monitor those questions. So please feel free to enter those there, and we'll make sure all of those get answered for you today. But without further ado, a little bit about us. My name is Kate McKay. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm one of our admissions counselors here on campus, primarily working with students in the Chicago area of Illinois, so Lake, Cook, DuPage, Kendall, and Will counties. A couple fun facts about me. This is my second year now in college admissions. My second year at Whitewater in admissions, but my 6th year overall because I am a proud alum. I did major in psychology and take advantage of some really cool opportunities like studying abroad in Australia, and am originally an out-of-state student from Minnesota. Last fun fact, I am left-handed, so kind of a fun thing there as well.
There's the unmute button. Awesome. Thank you, Kate. And again, so my name is Amy Switalski. I also use she, her pronouns. I serve as our other non-resident admissions counselor, and I work with all the rest of the counties in the state of Illinois. So Kate and I both stay very busy in Illinois and are excited and eager to chat with all of you interested students. Some fun facts about me. This is actually my 7th year in college admissions. Similar to Kate, though, I'm a very proud Warhawk alum. Having majored in broadcast journalism and actually just completed my master's as well at UW-Whitewater. I participated in a lot of different activities at Whitewater, but probably one of my most proud achievements was being a 4-year student athlete on the women's basketball team, which is the picture that you see in front of you. I am similar to Kate, also an out-of-state student from Central Illinois. I'm actually from the Decatur area. And my last fun fact I like to share is that I got married in a pandemic. So it's certainly a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, right? But it was definitely very enjoyable. But without further ado, enough about Kate and I. We want to start chatting about all the great things here at UW-Whitewater so that you can get all of the necessary information. Starting out first with our quick facts page. If you haven't heard of UW-Whitewater, this is definitely going to get you the best general information about who we are, who our students are, and what we really strive in. So as far as regionally location-wise and where we are located in between southeastern and south central Wisconsin. I say both places because we actually have 2 campuses. The large majority of the information discussed today will be about our main campus located in Whitewater, Wisconsin. So University of Wisconsin-Whitewater, again, in Whitewater, Wisconsin. And then our second campus is our branch campus located in Janesville, Wisconsin, called UW-Whitewater at Rock County. Across those two campuses, though, we're classified as a mid-sized institution. So we have just under 12,500 students across those two campuses, with the large majority of those students being on our main campus. Now, with all of those students, it's certainly something important to chat about is the types of students that you will see. UW-Whitewater considers itself to be an access institution, and we know that students are going to have a very different educational experience, and they're also coming from a different institution of themselves, or maybe a different experience that really makes that educational experience different. And what I mean by that is we have maybe new freshman students coming from high school to college. In that transition, we have transfer students, we have adult students, veteran students, first generation students, we have students of color, students like different identity-based groups, we have students who identify utilizing an academic or living accommodation through our Center for Students with Disabilities. So as you can see, some of those numbers and figures of all of those different types of students, it's really important to us that our entire Warhawk family feels the value shared in our recognition of a different educational experience. And we hope that you get that same information today. But I will pass it on to Kate to continue on.
So this slide highlights a lot of things that we're really proud of here at UW-Whitewater. So starting off in that bottom left-hand corner, I always like to mention if we have any parents watching, this is a good one to pay attention to, but we were voted the safest college campus in the state of Wisconsin. Definitely something we're really proud of is that our students can come to campus, they can learn, they can get involved, they can have some fun while they're here as well, and know that they're gonna stay safe while they're doing it. As Amy kind of mentioned on that last slide and some of the numbers up there, we have over 1,000 students that use services through our Center for Students with Disabilities, and we're actually a nationally ranked access campus for students with disabilities. We do a lot working with our Center for Students with Disabilities, working with students one-on-one that may have an IEP or a 504 in high school, a physical disability, a learning difference, need any sort of living or learning accommodations on campus. Our Center for Students with Disabilities will actually work one-on-one with those students to ensure that they're getting the accommodations they need to be successful in college. We also have a 4 out of 5 stars for LGBTQ inclusivity, so we've been doing a lot on campus to ensure that everyone's able to feel safe and welcome as a Warhawk. And the last thing I'll highlight on this slide, definitely something that we are really proud of here, is that 98.8% of our graduates, so almost 99% of UW-Whitewater grads, are employed in a full-time position or enrolled in a graduate program within a year of graduating from UW-Whitewater. So what that means is that we're doing a really good job here on campus of getting our students the experiences they need both in and out of the classroom so that they're able to go on and get into that grad school, go on and get hired in that position after they graduate. Now, we obviously can't talk about a college without talking about the academic programs, right? So we're all here to get a college degree. UW-Whitewater has over 50 majors, 119 minors, and tons of different emphases available on campus. So a lot of different ways to really personalize that degree so you can focus on the subjects that you're really wanting to learn about. Although we are a mid-sized campus, there are a couple things that are consistent across our courses, and that's that 100% of our classes are taught by faculty and instructional staff. So you'll never have a graduate assistant or a teacher's assistant teaching any of your classes. Everyone already has their master's degree or Ph.D., and you're really getting that course content from the experts. We also have a small average class size of around 28. So although we do offer some larger lecture classes, you are always able to take smaller classes if that's what you're wanting in your academic experience as well. Now on this slide, we have our different academic colleges laid out that kind of separate out how our majors and minors are split on campus. Our College of Arts and Communication, our College of Business and Economics, our College of Education and Professional Studies, and our College of Letters and Sciences are all located on our main campus in Whitewater, Wisconsin. We have a broad variety of majors, so that Arts and Communication has everything from theater and music performance to media arts and game development to broadcast journalism, as Amy would know. Our College of Business and Economics is actually the largest in the state of Wisconsin. We are the largest accredited business school in the state, and have an accreditation through the AACSB, which actually accredits less than 5% of business schools worldwide. So really talks to the caliber of that business education, and lots of cool ways to get involved in businesses in Whitewater and the surrounding communities as well. Our College of Education and Professional Studies speaks a little bit to UW-Whitewater history, since we were actually founded back in 1868 as a teachers college, and I've been educating educators for a long time, over 150 years now. We like to think we've gotten pretty good at it over the years, right? But in all reality, we do graduate the most licensed teachers in the state of Wisconsin as well. So definitely business and education are two things that we're really well known for in Wisconsin and regionally as well. All of you coming from Illinois too, if you're wanting to get a teaching license up here, our degree is transferable back down to Illinois as well. So you won't have to worry about that Wisconsin and Illinois licensure. The College of Letters and Sciences is our last academic college located on our Whitewater campus and houses a ton of different degrees ranging from our languages to all of our science degrees, chemistry, psychology, all of those as well. We have women's and gender studies, social work, and a lot more. All of our majors and minors are available in a list on our website, so if you have any questions about specific majors or anything, feel free to drop those in the Q&A or take a look on our website as well. Now, Amy did mention on that first slide that we have two different campuses. So our main campus in Whitewater, Wisconsin is going to house all of our four-year degrees, and our Rock County campus located in Janesville, Wisconsin is where our College of Integrated Studies is located. That's where all of our associate's degrees are going to be housed. So if you are looking at more of a community college or smaller campus type of environment, wanting to do that before you transfer to a four-year university, our Rock County campus can be a great option as well.
Awesome. So I think that Kate and I would both agree that alongside of your academic experience, involvement has to be so included in that that college search process, and then wherever you end up attending, hopefully joining the Warhawk family, think about what that involvement looks like to you. Within all of our academic colleges, involvement is going to be talked about often, if not all the time. And that involvement comes in many different forms, and that's particularly the screen or the presentation slide that you see in front of you. What is really nice at UW-Whitewater, we have a completely dedicated office to this involvement experience, which definitely ranges a broad brush. So the Career and Leadership Development Center is an office completely dedicated to that professional development that comes in forms of involvement specifically, but also professional exercises like resume writing tips, cover letter building, all of those different workshops that are all hosted and free to attend through what we call short CLD, or again, Career and Leadership Development. So in the ways of involvement, I mentioned earlier that we do have just under 12,500 students across those two campuses. At our Whitewater main campus, we have about 11,000 students there. And as you can see, we have over 8,000 students involved in some type of student organization. And so we can't push enough about involvement, not only for your enjoyment in your college experience, but employers want to see what you're doing outside of the classroom that really impacts your professional development while you're in school. So we have over 200 student organizations, which you see a brief list in front of you, which range from Whitewater Student Government to our Black Student Union to the Cereal Eating Club. So there really is a designated student organization for you. It's super easy to create one on your own as well, but student organizations, there's so much life in those. We do have Greek organizations on our campus. We have, I think, about 23 Greek organizations on our campus now. That ranges from academic and social Greek organizations as well. So that's certainly an opportunity for involvement. We are an NCAA Division III institution with 20 intercollegiate sports. So if you're thinking about continuing your student athletic experience post-high school, UW-Whitewater is a place of tradition for excellence within that athletic experience. Kate and I both played actually on the women's basketball team in our times, 2 different times, but we did. We also have 30 club sports, 22 intramural sports, so there's lots of opportunities for that competitive edge if that's what you're looking for. Additionally, on the organization side, we have over 3,000 on-campus job opportunities. So if you're continuing that work experience, thinking about working, maybe going to do something within work study, if you've talked about that before, that would really be your opportunity to participate or get hired on in one of our 3,000 on-campus job opportunities. One of those opportunities actually being in the admissions office, so we certainly enjoy having our students work there. Now, one particular type of student organization that we really like, or student involvement that I really like to touch on, is called high impact practices. High impact practices are purposefully put in place to really influence and impact your educational experience, and can come in the form of an internship, undergraduate research, or as Kate mentioned what she did, global learning, studying abroad, really getting to travel. And so I can't encourage enough those high impact practices being so crucial to your educational experience, that you're only helping yourself that much more for that professional endeavor after college. Now, all of these great opportunities with academics and involvement, it certainly comes with a price, and we recognize that. We know that college isn't free, it's certainly not always cheap, but we want to make sure that we're impacting that cost of attendance for you as best as we can. And so much so, UW-Whitewater was recently voted the best value in the UW system. This is big. College does cost, and we want to make this as influential of a cost for you, your family, your support, whomever is assisting maybe within that process. We want to make sure that you are well taken care of. And what that means is we have some inclusions within this cost of attendance. We maintain a lower cost of attendance to begin with. So as you can see in front of you, 95% of your textbooks are covered within the cost of tuition. This is awesome. Laundry is included within housing. Other amenities included are tutoring, printing, athletic event tickets, all part of that cost of attendance to really influence that experience. You will see in front of you also the average number of awards that we typically have sent for scholarships. We are going to talk about scholarships later on in this presentation, but I always like to mention that there are scholarship opportunities here.
Well, now that we've talked a little bit about all the things that Amy and I think what make Whitewater such a great place to come pursue a college education, I do want to talk a little bit about the application process. So the application is open for students who just started their senior year of high school, or if we have any transfer students in the room, that application's open as well. But just want to kind of talk through the few things in here that really make up that application, the pieces we're going to ask for that are required. So the first of those is that we are going to ask you to complete an online application. We are not on the Common application, but we are on the UW system application, which is at that apply.wisconsin.edu link you see on the screen here. It's kind of like the Common App, but just for the UW public schools. We typically do have a $25 application fee associated with our application. However, we received a very generous donation from the UW-Whitewater Foundation, who has actually offered to cover all of the application fees through October 31st of this year. So if anyone in here hasn't yet applied and is interested, if you apply by October 31st, that application fee is covered for you. If you do apply after that, know that there is a $25 application fee, but if you do require a fee waiver or have financial need, we have fee waivers available as well. The last piece we'll require from our current high school students is a copy of your high school transcript. That can be sent to us in a couple different ways. So if you have access to that transcript and can attach a PDF of it to anything, you can actually upload that right into your application. You can send it to our office in an email, or you can request it officially through your high school. Everyone's high school has a little bit different process for that. We will require, if there are any transfer students here, any copies of college transcripts as well. Now, typically we have in the past required ACT or SAT scores for admission. However, this year we have actually gone test optional. So anyone applying all the way through the summer of 2022, we are not requiring ACT or SAT scores for admission or for our scholarships, which Amy will touch on in a little bit. If you want to send your ACT or SAT scores in, you can do so, and we will review them as part of our comprehensive review of your application, which I'll touch on a little bit on the next slide. So throughout the application review process, right, you send us all these documents, you submit your application, you pay the fee. So what are we actually looking for as we go through and review your application? We at UW-Whitewater here have a really comprehensive review of the application. So we don't just look at your GPA, we don't just see that you've completed an application or have this ACT score. We look at a lot of different things. The first of those is listed on this slide is going to be course completion. So the UW system actually has requirements for classes that you'll need to complete while you are in high school. So definitely something to be aware of before you start applying. All students are going to be required to have completed 4 years of English, 3 years of math with a minimum of Algebra 2, 3 years of science, and 3 years of social studies or social sciences by the time they graduate high school. So for our seniors in the room, if you haven't completed the 4 years of English, that's totally okay. It's just something you'll need to complete by graduation. For a lot of high schools, these are the graduation requirements, so definitely just something to kind of check in on as you look at your schedule for your senior year. We are going to look at your GPA, just because that's a number of something you've been working towards for almost 4 years now, putting in all of that work in the classroom. But we are also going to look at a couple different things on your transcripts. So when we talk about course rigor, we're talking about the difficulty of your classes. So if you've taken any honors or AP coursework, we're going to look at trends in your GPA. So if maybe freshman or sophomore year wasn't that great, but then you worked hard through junior year, we'll also take into account that this spring, the United States was hit with a global pandemic, and we understand that that had a huge effect on what high school looked like. So if you had some troubles with this spring semester, we are humans, we know that you're people too, and so those are things we're looking at on your transcript. I did mention that test scores are optional this year. If you choose to submit them though, we will review them as part of your application. So if you think that's going to help with showing that you're a qualified applicant for UW-Whitewater, we would love to have you send those in as well. In your application, then there are a couple other things you can list as well. So you'll be able to list out all of the activities you've been involved in. If you've joined any student organizations, played at any sports, worked part-time, done any of those things, those are great things to list in that application as well. We also have a personal essay, which is kind of our version of that college essay. That's really just an open-ended statement where you can then put in any information you think we should know about you, about why you'd be a great fit for the Warhawk family. So students will talk about challenges they've overcome, successes they've had, things that may have impacted their grades or different things on their transcript. So a lot of room for you to really make that your own and tell us your story about who you are outside of all these letters and numbers we're going to see on your transcripts and potentially your test scores. We also do not require any letters of recommendation, but any of those that you'd like to submit, you can submit those and we'll review those as well.
So definitely to piggyback off of this application review piece, I can't stress enough the importance to take your time, right? Submit your best work. You can log out and log back into that application as much as you need to. And this is important for two reasons. One, it is a college application, and you know as much as we know, taking it seriously is very important. As well, UW-Whitewater uses the application submitted for admission for scholarship consideration. So there's no additional scholarship application that you're going to submit to UW-Whitewater for scholarships as an incoming student, no matter if you're a new freshman or a transfer student. So I'll reiterate, the application submitted for admission is used for scholarship consideration. And these are competitive, so we are highly selective on the students that we're selecting for some of these scholarships. And they are competitive, so we are really comparing students from one against the other to see all of those pieces that a student submits for their application for admission, like course rigor, like letters of rec, like their personal essay, like activities, to really make that scholarship determination. Our competitive scholarships are typically awarded in the second semester of your senior year. So if you're awarded a competitive scholarship, those would be sent to you via a letter in the mail, typically around the time frame of February 2021 and thereafter. These scholarships range from $500 to $5,000. They're one-year scholarships, they're four-year scholarships, but you must have, in order to be considered eligible, and part of that review, you must have a 3.4 unweighted GPA on a 4-point scale in order to be considered in that review. If you meet that minimum, then you'll be put in that pool for consideration. And once second semester rolls around, our scholarship committee should see your application as part of that consideration. Now, we do have separate scholarships for out-of-state students that are called non-resident new freshman scholarships, or you can be eligible for the Midwest Student Exchange Program. Now, these scholarships differ a little bit because these are awarded at time of admission. So if you're an admitted student and you meet the merit requirements to get this, then it'll automatically be sent to you with your admission letter. So how these work is these range from amounts, these vary in amounts, being from starting at $1,000 all the way up to $5,000, or you're eligible for that Midwest Student Exchange Program. So how this works is from that 3.0, starting at a minimum of 3.0 unweighted GPA on a 4-point scale, all the way up to that 3.84 unweighted GPA on a 4-point scale, that ranges from that $1,000 to actually $4,000. If you have a 3.85 unweighted GPA on a 4-point scale or higher, you will automatically receive the $5,000 if you are not from an MSEP state, or you will receive that MSEP discount. Now, the large majority of our students tuning in today are probably from the state of Illinois, which is an MSEP recipient state. So if you have that 3.85 or higher, you will be eligible for that MSEP discount automatically, no questions asked. That's what you will receive. We certainly try and spread the love in regards to scholarships to really show how our recognition for hard work that the students have done. So don't hesitate to reach out and ask those questions, but I can't encourage enough using your resources to explore outside opportunities for scholarships and what that looks like. So whether that's asking your high school counselors, who are amazing resources during this time of your college exploration, asking admissions counselors like Kate and I to help you in your research for some of those outside explorations, or going to a community center or your employer if you're working. Those are going to be some of those opportunities to find those outside scholarships and find what's there for you. Now, what's next steps? What does that look like? If you're still an applying student, I want to talk about everything on the left-hand column first. So our application, again, for the fall of 2021, the spring of 2021, but the fall of 2021 more specifically, is open. It opened on August 1st, and you can start filling that out and submitting it whenever you are ready and then submitted your best work. We will review those applications all through the academic year with a priority deadline of May 1st. Now, as Kate mentioned, we all endured a global pandemic, which nobody saw coming, and so pandemic or anything else that may delay that decision, we just ask that you communicate with us to let us know what's happening, what's going on. We understand that life happens and situations arise, and as long as you're communicating with us, we're going to be as accommodating as possible. Another important date that's actually coming next week, and I can't believe it, October 1st is going to be here, and that is a very important date across the board. That is when the free application for federal student aid opens, or FAFSA. It is free. It is one of the best tools that you can use in regards to affording college. So I definitely encourage filling it out. It's not required by UW-Whitewater for you to fill it out, but it's certainly something that's going to be a major assistance. And as I mentioned, those scholarships, the deadline for those competitive scholarships is to be admitted by January 1st of your senior year in order to be considered in that first pool of eligible students. So all the more reason to definitely apply sooner rather than later, as well as that at no cost application that is through the end of October as well. And then on the right-hand column, if you are an admitted student currently, also next week, October 1, the housing contract opens. This is something that I certainly encourage doing. If say Whitewater is in your top 2, your top 3 choices, and you have the financial means to do so, when you start your housing contract, you'll actually get instructed to go ahead and submit a $125 fully refundable deposit. I say this so that you can reserve your spot early as you're making those decisions. It is by no means your formal commitment to UW-Whitewater, but certainly assists in that process as the steps open up throughout the year. And then later on in the second semester, something that I just want to mention, don't bog your brain down with it too much, but every new freshman student has to take a math placement exam before they attend Warhawk SOAR, which every student has to attend Warhawk SOAR, which is our student orientation, advising, and registration, or you sign up for your first semester classes as a Warhawk. So definitely some exciting things happening. But we are here to stay connected with you. Through and through, we want to make sure that you know what's going on in those next steps, or that application, scholarships, just campus in general. If you're wanting to visit campus, our campus is open and we are allowing tours. We have smaller tour sizes and they are certainly in high demand. So I definitely encourage following either our social media pages or being attentive to some of our web pages so that you truly know what's going on campus. Additionally, if and maybe when you become an admitted student, I also encourage students to join our UW-Whitewater Class Of page. For our students potentially enrolling in the fall of 2021, you could join the Class Of 2025 page, which will be here before we know it. So it's definitely something that you get to meet future potential peers and see what they're majoring in, classes that they may be taking, students meet their roommates there. So it is a great way to get connected to campus from the get-go. But that concludes all of our information that Kate and I wanted to share today. So we certainly want to stick around though and answer some questions. If we had questions come through, if you wanted to ask those now, we're going to stay logged on. We have about 13 minutes left of today's program. So if anything else, certainly take a screenshot or a picture of our contact information. As we mentioned earlier, we both work with students from the state of Illinois, if that's where you are from. So don't hesitate to reach out to either one of us, whether it's student, parent, guardian, aunt, uncle, friend, cousin, whomever's helping out. We're definitely here to answer those questions. So feel free, I'll leave our contact us page up for a few more minutes and we will see if any other questions come in. I see we have some participants still on, so I hope that this information was helpful and gave you some insight and maybe encouragement to apply if you haven't already, or maybe visit campus.
Awesome, Amy. Terry would like to know if there are tour opportunities currently on campus.
Awesome. Yes, that is a great question. We are currently open for tours. We are open. I just want to like scream that because we're so excited that we were able to provide campus tours with safety measures in place. If you go to our website, which Kate, will you put our, will you reply with our website for signing up for tours? I will also say it, but I definitely want to make sure that it is typed to the person who asked the question as well. Our website for finding a tour, just simply www.uww.ed as in dog u/tour. You'll be able to see all of those tour opportunities. We actually just posted tours for the entire month of October. They are in high demand, so they do fill up extraordinarily fast. So I can't stress enough to be attentive to our website, as we do not have a wait list. We open them up, and if they fill up, they fill up. And just being attentive to when things either open up, if people cancel. We only allow 9 guests per tour group, and typically offer 3 tours a day, or 4 tours a day, excuse me, on Monday through Thursday, and then actually 8 tours at 4 different times on Fridays. So there are certainly a lot of different opportunities for those tour options, but since they're smaller sizes, they certainly do fill up.
We do have some other virtual opportunities as well. So this one that we presented today is definitely a general overview of UW-Whitewater, but we do have some more like academic college specific visit opportunities that are virtual. So if you want to know more about our College of Business and Economics, Arts and Communication, any of those, we are hosting different opportunities to learn more about our academic colleges as well. But awesome. Looks like Terry has another question. Amy, would you mind talking a little bit more about our Center for Students with Disabilities?
Yes, so we brought this up on several different occasions throughout the presentation. So, but we do have an entire office dedicated to students who may utilize academic or living accommodations while in college. And so if you are a student who's currently using an IEP or a 504 plan, has received a diagnosis from a physician or psychologist, we definitely encourage utilizing our Center for Students with Disabilities, also known as CSD. I actually serve as our liaison to the Center for Students with Disabilities, and I can't talk highly enough about CSD and the amazing resource that they are. We actually, UW-Whitewater is the flagship campus in the state of Wisconsin for serving students who utilize these accommodations. So we have certainly been excelling in making sure that access to education is met, especially for students who are utilizing accommodations, because that education looks a little different. And so for our students who are going to be utilizing this, you do have to apply for services, and that is separate from applying for admission. And those services certainly look similar to what you maybe have utilized in high school, but can also differ from what you've used in high school as well. Things that are going to transition are things like extra test time, quiet spaces for tests and quizzes. Those are definitely the most common. If students need aids or technology, that can certainly be worked out with one of our disability service coordinators who serve similarly as a case manager that you may have had in high school. But this is one of our best features of campus, of UW-Whitewater, is being able to assist students who utilize these accommodations in college. So thank you so much for that question. It's such a great question. Feel free to keep asking away. We've still got time. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that Kate and I are a little bit bigger, so then we can answer some more questions. But as I mentioned, we're certainly hopeful that this information was useful to you. Like Kate mentioned as well, we have so many different virtual opportunities, and so I always encourage students, their families, utilizing some of those virtual resources. I know that the high schools are doing a stellar job getting this information out to their students as well. So just being in tune with what's taking place. Awesome. Kate, do you have anything you'd like to share that we either didn't touch on or you want to reiterate?
I'm muted, sorry. It looks like we had another question more specifically about the types of disabilities and things we see on campus. Wondering, Amy, if you want to touch on that here, if that'd be more helpful if you could follow up with this student.
Yeah, I think that this might be best, certainly to have a more conversation after this presentation, either via email, via phone, but we certainly serve all types of students. Students who disclose cognitive disabilities, students who disclose mental wellness, students who disclose being on the spectrum, students who disclose different other anxiety disorders or ADHD, ADD. We certainly serve a lot of different kinds of students. And so there are students that we are more equipped to help. There are students who we just don't have the technology or service availability. But yes, we can certainly chat. What I will do is provide my, Kate, if you hadn't already chatted her my email, that would be great. And then we can figure out more on our connection.
Yep, I recommended that they reach out to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we have about 6 minutes left. So if you have any other questions, please feel free to let us know. We're just here to make sure you get all of that information.
Definitely.
Well, I think Amy and I touched on quite a lot of information today, but I think one of the main takeaways that we both have from UW-Whitewater is that whether you're interested in, business, arts, athletics, our cereal eating club, any of those different things, the student experience is going to look completely different for a lot of our students on campus. So Amy was really heavily involved in athletics for 4 years, but still found some ways to get involved in other things, where I was only an athlete for a couple years. So after that, did take advantage of studying abroad. I had 3 different campus jobs on campus all at the same time, which felt like a lot at the time, but provided a lot of really cool opportunities. So just know that whether you're interested in, you know, a lot of those academic student organizations, getting involved in a fraternity or sorority, starting a different club, or being involved in our club sports, there's just a lot of different opportunities and a lot of different ways to get that college experience that's really going to be right for you.
Mm-hmm. That's a great point. Love that. And we're only here to be the shepherds of your experience. We truly are here to assist along the way, but don't forget about those resources close to home too. Again, your high school counselors are going to be an awesome, awesome tool. So don't hesitate to reach out to them. Your teachers, your parents, whomever your support system may be. There's no bad questions. Always ask questions. I can't stress that enough. So when you go and visit campus, or you have virtual visits like this, make a list. Sometimes it's just as much as to list, you know, what types of services do you provide, what involvement opportunities, do you have this as a major? It can be very broad as well, but that's why we're here. But UW-Whitewater as a whole, Kate and I probably both agree, we are incredibly biased. We both enjoyed our experience, and so much so we get to talk about it on a regular basis. And so we hope that you only felt our enjoyment for Whitewater through this presentation, and that hopefully we get to meet you all in the future. Awesome. So we have about 3 minutes left. If anybody wants to chat anything, we're certainly happy to assist.
Yeah, if there's anything you want to know more about on campus, like we said, we have a lot of that knowledge, but some of that experience as well.
Yes, definitely. And if you haven't applied, I have to stress again, take advantage of applying sooner rather than later, because it is at no cost to you. There's no penalty or downfall to just submitting an application, if anything else. That way you can get either more information about campus, or just have one more step out of the way and can continue in your pursuit of your college home. So submitting that is great. Attending other virtual visits, either through our website or even here through IACAC and StrideScan, is always a great opportunity to find your fit, which is awesome. Alrighty, well, if nothing else, I don't see any questions coming through, so we can certainly close out and wrap up. You saw our contact page there at the end of the presentation slide, so hopefully you took a picture of that. If not, you can find all of our contact information for our entire office, but more specifically for Kate and I, on our Contact Us page. That is a great way to stay connected.
Yeah, one last quick question that came in. I'm going to try to answer it in a minute, and if I don't, I'll send you an email, but asked if we're in remote learning or in class. And the answer is it's kind of a blend. So some students are taking classes on campus in socially distanced classrooms, and other students are taking hybrid courses where they're partially online, partially in person. Other students are completely online or remote. So it was kind of up to students to make that decision on whether they wanted to take those on-campus courses or not. We did move all of our students back into the dorms and back onto campus. So there definitely are students out and about in Whitewater. Glad we could sneak that last one in.
Yeah. I was gonna say, our campus has done an exceptional job. We actually created an entire emergency team around how to prepare for this learning environment that's very different. And we've kept our students safe. The professors have set the standards. So we've done an awesome job, and students are still on campus here. So they're doing great.
Yeah, thank you all so much for joining us. I think we're at our time limit. So we're gonna, for the sake of time, let y'all go. But thank you so much again. And if you have any questions, feel free to let us know.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. At the end, when you close this window, there will be a very quick 4-question survey that will appear for you. And remember that all sessions will be recorded and available on the IACAC website along with other sessions. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Awesome. I'm going to stop recording now.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you.
There we go. There we go. Now we're good.
Enjoy the rest of your Thursday.
Yeah, I know, exactly. It's Thursday, right?
I think so.
Yes. All righty. Well, everybody take
Awesome.
care.
Yep. See ya.
Bye.
Thanks.